With the exception of death and injuries, the worst thing that can happen to a wrestler is getting no reaction from the audience. It can happen to anyone. Even wrestlers like Edge, Kane, and The Undertaker have had incidents where they killed the crowd. In fact, one moment was so bad that WWE actually stopped the show and told fans they had to get louder. Before I show you that, this first moment is pretty sad. At Survivor Series 2014, it was Team John Cena versus The Authority. Cena's team was stacked with The Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Erick Rowan, and all of them got a big reaction, except for one. And then there was Erick Rowan. The reason the fans had no reaction for poor Rowan was that this is the first time he used that particular entrance music. Also, fans just simply weren't into the character. A moment like that is bad, but imagine getting no reaction every time you come out. That's what happened to this next wrestler. Charlie Haas debuted in a big way by being paired with Kurt Angle and Shelton Benjamin. Shelton and Haas would go on to become two-time WWE Tag Team Champions, but things went downhill after they broke up. Haas was used less and less and eventually got released in 2005. However, in 2006, Charlie Haas came back, and the response was, well, non-existent.
Charlie Haas!
Unfortunately, it wasn't just a case of a bad crowd. This would keep happening at shows, and fans would eventually start referring to it as the Haas Pop.
And from Dallas, Texas, weighing in at 249 pounds, Charlie Haas!
Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler here at Penn State University. And King last week, Charlie Haas was inadvertently involved in a...
This was bad, but wait until you see the moment when WWE stopped a show because of how dead the crowd was. In 2010, Edge made his return at the Royal Rumble and was immediately a face, a good guy. However, about 3 months later, Edge got drafted from SmackDown to Raw. The Radar superstar made one final appearance on the Blue brand to tell the fans how much they meant to him. Christian interrupted though and claimed that Edge's heartfelt speech was a load of crap. Edge admitted that Captain Charisma was right, but the crowd didn't seem to care.
I can't wait to get off this show. For the last few months, I've been the puppeteer, and these people have been my puppets. I've been making them dance around saying spear, 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 anytime I wanted them to. And guess what? They did it.
The lackluster fan response was due to a combination of fans still liking Edge, especially since he had just come back from a major injury, and also just the whole heel turn not being that great. It's not surprising that WWE made Edge face again shortly after this. Mick Foley is one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time. Not only was he willing to risk his life to entertain the fans, but he's also one of the nicest guys in the world. So how could fans not react to him? Oh, trust me, there's a way. In 2006, Foley began a feud with Edge, leading to their famous WrestleMania match where Mick went through a flaming table.
Oh my God, what's gonna happen? Look out! Oh my God! Oh my God!
After WrestleMania, Mick and the Radar superstar continued their rivalry. During an episode of Raw, Edge and Mick Foley went at it again. However, Foley invited Tommy Dreamer and made it a triple threat match. It looked like the two ECW legends were gonna work together until Mick Foley betrayed Tommy and revealed he was now working with Edge. The crowd barely reacted, and after the heel turn was over, they stood in silence.
Look at Tommy Dreamer's blood on Mr. Soggo.
The fans clearly did not want to boo Mick Foley, and how could they? This was the man who nearly killed himself to give us one of the greatest moments in WWE history. It's not surprising that Mick Foley's run as a bad guy was short-lived and is rarely brought up. In 2006, Kane was suffering from identity fraud when someone wore his old mask and started attacking him. The real Kane and the imposter Kane finally got to fight it out at the Vengeance pay-per-view. While both men brought the heat, the crowd was lukewarm at best.
Well, through hellfire and brimstone, the imposter Kane.
Ironically, something very similar happened to The Undertaker too, and it was even worse. In the mid-90s, The Undertaker disappeared from WWE after he was defeated by Yokozuna at the Royal Rumble. A few months later, the Dead Man returned, but he was now being controlled by Ted DiBiase. The Undertaker's original manager, Paul Bearer, claimed DiBiase's Phenom was an imposter. This set the stage for the return of the real Undertaker at the 1994 SummerSlam, where the Dead Man came face to face with himself. Fans started off excited to see the real Undertaker return, but they quickly got bored of the match. Vince McMahon was doing commentary and realized the fans weren't into the match and tried to present it as a good thing. You tell me if it worked.
This capacity crowd in awe. They don't know what quite to think. They're seeing two Undertakers.
This wasn't the only time fans sat on their hands for The Undertaker. At WrestleMania 15, The Undertaker fought Big Boss Man in a Hell in a Cell match. Their match wasn't that great due to a number of factors, and the ending only made it worse. After defeating Boss Man, the Brood lowered from the ceiling and gave The Undertaker a rope that he put around Big Boss Man. Now listen to this clip and tell me what's missing.
The Boss Man's being hung from the cell! The Boss Man's being hung from the cell!
We got commentary and The Undertaker's entrance music, but there's no crowd reaction. If you couldn't see the fans, you would say this happened in an empty arena. Now, what could be worse than this? Having fans be silent for an entire match. Before I share this reaction, what happened, or rather what didn't happen, really wasn't the wrestler's fault. Backlash 2017 is probably best known for being the show where Jinder Mahal won the WWE Championship. Here's a question though. What match happened before that? If you said Luke Harper vs. Erick Rowan, you are correct. This match received little to no hype in the weeks before the show. To make matters worse, it was sandwiched between two big championship matches. So when that's the case, it's not surprising that this is what happened.
Honestly. I miss old Tonga. and a big power slam, dumping Harper.
Even though the crowd was absolutely dead, WWE still did not stop the show. There is one time they did, and you'll be seeing that very soon. Throughout 2010 and 2011, one of the biggest mysteries in WWE was who was the anonymous Raw general manager. Whoever this person was, they would communicate via messages sent to a laptop. Man, this general manager was working from home before it was cool. Anyways, the anonymous GM disappeared before the mystery was solved, but in 2012, the remote general manager returned for one night. Santino Marella made it his mission to find out who it was, and he got an answer. At the end of the show, Santino checked under the ring, where he discovered Hornswoggle. The crowd was not amazed.
Hornswoggle? Are you telling me you're the one that's been causing all of this misery?
Evolution is a mystery and one of the greatest factions in WWE history. The group consisted of four of the biggest stars in wrestling, so when Evolution returned after being broken up for 9 years, you would think they would get a massive reaction, even just based on the fact that all of them were superstars individually. But you would be wrong.
One of the strongest factions in WWE history.
I guess the crowd weren't Ruthless Aggression fans. These fans were actually pretty lucky. WWE could have publicly shamed them for being a bad crowd, and yes, WWE has been petty enough to do that. On the road to WrestleMania, WWE made a stop in Lafayette, Louisiana for Monday Night Raw. They ended up regretting that decision. On that night, several wrestlers got the call up from NXT, but the fans in attendance did not care. WWE was so irate about this that they actually made an entire video about how bad the crowd was.
As a member of the WWE Universe for a long time, I was disappointed in Lafayette.
While WWE called out the Lafayette crowd, there was one city that was so bad that WWE actually stopped the show to tell them to get more excited. In late 2014, WWE was doing an episode of SmackDown from Liverpool, England. For whatever reason, the Liverpool fans were just not that loud.
So Ziggler has won under these conditions. Backslide here on Kidd, shoulders down, another kick out. Cesaro looking to take the advantage here.
Vince McMahon then decided to stop the show and scold the audience personally.
What's the matter with you people sitting on your hands out here? You're not having a good time? You're not cheering. You're not booing, and why? Come on, have some fun here tonight, damn it!
Now, even Vince McMahon would have to say the Liverpool fans didn't do anything disrespectful. Some fans have though, and to see what wrestlers did to them, watch this video.